All right, I want to talk to you for just a few minutes here about animal traps. All preppers, all preppers, period, should have traps of all sorts: animal, bird, fish, crawfish, minnow, whatever kind of trap you can think of, a rat trap, you should have them and lots of them. You should have homemade traps and store-bought traps and just traps you've made out of junk, because they all work really good, all very useful, and they would all be needed in a stuff hit the fan situation. All right, I used to be a vegan, a vegetarian. First I was a big meat eater, turned to vegetarianism. Then I was a vegan. Being a vegan almost killed me because my body was literally eating itself because I would not take supplements. And I realized that, hey, this isn't natural. And so I stopped being a vegan, and now I do not eat red meat, but once a week I'll eat chicken or fish. And I go through stages where I may not even touch a piece of chicken or fish for months. But that's who's talking to you. Now, I said all that because I'm talking about traps and catching animals and eating them. But I would only do that in a survival situation. If you feel like doing it every day, well, good for you. That's your business. But anyway, to each his own, and this is my own. I made all of my traps except for my live animal traps, and they are for survival. And every prepper should have animal traps. It is just as important as having a gun or a fishing pole. It is. Now, I realize that in a stuff hit the fan situation, bad one I'm talking for, that lasts for months, that the animal population would decrease drastically. I realize that. But there would still be animals for months and months and months out there that may be hard to find, but they would still be there. But for at least the first 3 months or so, you would have some decent food. So in a stuff hit the fan situation, one of the first things I would do would be set out my traps. Immediately, I would go and set them out. I have plenty of food stored, but I would save that as long as I could and eat what I could as far as animals go. I would have to catch them and eat them to save my food and to supplement my food, add it to the dinner table. I've got videos on all of these traps, so I won't be going into detail. But I got a homemade bird trap there. It works great. It works great. I've got another homemade bird trap which works great as well. This one actually works a little better than that one. This is a crawfish trap made out of junk, pure junk that I had sitting around. It's another bird trap. It's not a real good one, but it does work, and it was made out of junk. These are bought, and I've got bigger ones, but they're actually set up right now in the crawl space, catching Mr. Possum. Now, if I catch something, I turn it loose on state land, which is just right around the corner. But in order for it to get back to me, it'll have to cross 2 bodies of water. Crawfish trap, just made the video on this one. That's fish/crawfish trap. I don't eat crawfish, but some people would in a survival situation, and they make excellent bait. A crawfish trap can be used as a fish trap as well. Now this here, I've got a video on this as well. This is a TVA, that's the Tennessee Valley Authority. It's a TVA approved fish trap. I made that, and it is approved by the TVA. I can use it in their waters. This is a crawfish slash minnow trap, and that works really good. It doesn't look real nice. It doesn't look like it would work real good, but it actually works really good. And this is half of a minnow trap. The other half was buried, and I didn't want to dig for it. It's buried in my prepping stuff. I didn't want to dig for it, but the other half looks exactly like this. You buy these. They fit together, and it will be just like this. And it's a minnow trap, and it works excellent. Just about everybody knows what that is. Now this is a noodle or a jug. This is for fishing. You put in, and I've got several of these made, about 16 I think. And I make them this way, and I'll do another video of making them and explain why I like them like this. But these, you put your fishing line, hook, and bait on. You put your weight on there, and you throw it out in the water. You've got a dozen of these out there. Stuff hit the fan, throw a dozen out. That's a dozen people fishing. Set up your minnow traps for your bait. Immediately go out and put your bird traps up. Put your bird traps up, far apart from each other. Put water in them. You don't want to be inhumane. You go to catch a bird. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and trap birds. Birds are protected. There's only a couple of birds you can trap, and they are considered nuisance. But in a survival situation, anything goes. So if you have to use your traps, bird traps, you make sure you put water in them. You don't want the bird to suffer. You want to be humane. You don't want to be inhumane and let that thing thirst to death. Because a bird trap, you set it out and you can leave it out for a long time. This one would fill up with birds if I had the right bait. Same with this one. So I'd set these out really quick. That'd be the first thing I'd do in a survival situation. I would go to the lake, throw these out, all of them, bait them, throw them out, get my bait traps out there, right there at where the creek and the lake meet. I'd set my birds traps way out, crawfish trap out. This is crawfish / fish, so it would catch both. Bird trap. I wouldn't use my live animal traps, but unless I had to. My crawfish / fish trap and my fish trap, I would set them all out. That'd be the first thing that I would do. Reason why is because I would want to start producing food ASAP. The animal population would decrease quickly in a stuff hit the fan situation. Anyway, that's it. Every prepper should have traps, and YouTube is full of how to make homemade traps. I've got videos on most of these, but they're very easy to do, very cheap, and I would much rather, like my bird trap, I would much rather have this one than a bought one. This works excellent. Anyway, we'll see you. I've got frog gigs. I've got a turtle trap that's actually set up in the pond at my neighbor's house over there across the street. And it's a nice little turtle trap, kind of awkward, kind of bulky, but it floats around. The turtles crawl up there, fall in, and can't get out. They can hang on. It's not an inhumane trap, and it is just to get the turtles out of that pond and place them elsewhere. But I have lots of other traps, frog gigs, whatever. Anyway, we'll see you.